Belarusian opposition leader Svetlana Tikhanovskaya says the country's president, Alexander Lukashenko, is committed to helping his most important benefactor, Russian President Vladimir Putin.
By providing such material support, he's buying time in power. He wants to show that he is loyal.
Russia has been using its ally, Belarus, as a staging ground for its war in Ukraine. Drawing on data from several sources, monitoring military activity in Belarus, primarily the Belarusian Hayun project and the community of Belarus railroad workers, Tikhanovskaya says that the number of Russian troops in Belarus will only grow.
There are multiple reports that Belarusian barracks are overcrowded, and now Russia builds additional facilities for them, so it can be expected that more Russian soldiers will come.
Belarus sends the military equipment by rail, and traffic has been active in both directions, the opposition leader says.
We see echelons with Russian equipment are coming to Belarus as well.
In a phone interview with VOA, a monitor from the community of Belarus railroad workers, who asked to be unnamed, said that in recent weeks, several dozen, up to 100 units of damaged Russian military equipment arrived in Belarus. Pavel Slunkin focuses on Belarus-related issues at the European Council on Foreign Relations.
So Belarus is used as a maintenance hub not only for treating the wounded soldiers, but also fixing up the Russian armored personnel carriers and tanks, which are then taken back to Russia and then to the front lines.
In addition to repairing Russian war machinery, Belarus is donating trucks and tanks, some 211 pieces of heavy equipment in October alone. The founder of the Belarusian Hayun project, Anton Motolko, says the Belarusian railroad workers provide information on exactly what the trains are carrying, as well as where they are going, giving a clear look at the resupply effort.
There are two military bases from which the equipment is taken. They are in the towns of Udichia and Starya Dorogya. We tracked it down and saw that it was all sent to the area that borders the Ukrainian Donetsk and Luhansk regions.
Slunkin says the movement of troops and equipment between Russia and Belarus could mean two things.
First, that Russia has used up a huge amount of its weaponry. And secondly, it tells us indirectly that we should not be expecting the Belarusian army's participation in this war.
But Tikhanovskaya says that by sending troops to Belarus, Putin might be pursuing a more menacing political objective.
Russians are expanding their permanent military presence to make sure that Belarus will not get out of Russian control. And, Belarus could become a consolation prize for Putin.
Whether the Russian troops training in Belarus stay there or are sent to Ukraine, critics say their goal will be the same: the occupation of more territory at Russia's neighbors' expense. Igor Tikhanenko, VOANews, New York.